Having a spare tire is great in situations where you need to quickly swap out a flat, but believe it or not, because we sell wheels and tires on our website, there are actually a number of disadvantages with carrying a spare tire. So the question becomes, do we actually need a spare tire or not? Having a spare tire always used to seem like a no-brainer to me, at least when I was a lot younger. Nowadays, with the advancements of tire technology, tires are much more cut and puncture resistant, and in a lot of off-roading circumstances, there are a lot more advantages to not carrying a spare than there is to carrying one along with you. Now, if you're doing quite a bit of on and off-road traveling, then having a spare tire to swap onto your vehicle quickly can really save your ass in a lot of different circumstances. For example, the adventurous who often travels off the beaten path through some remote destinations with sometimes extremely rough and challenging terrains, often many times not having any cell phone signal and carrying the essentials to be self-sustaining, can be crucial in many situations and can make or break the difference between having a good day or a really, really bad day. Therefore, in these types of traveling conditions, having a spare tire or even a couple of spares offers many more advantages than not having a spare at all. But spare tires are cumbersome, obtrusive, and can be quite heavy, putting extra strain on your vehicle and inhibiting some of the performance of the suspension, drivetrain, and other components, like the tailgate. Tailgate-mounted spare tire carriers often endure a lot of additional stress when we upgrade to larger tires, especially once we start getting bigger than about that 33 to 35 inch range. There is an option to upgrade to a heavy-duty tailgate-mounted spare tire carrier like the one that Icon Impact Armor has, but the added weight is still putting stress on the tailgate hinges and even on the rear tub of your vehicle, specifically Jeeps, and can even fatigue the rear body mounts on the back of the Jeep. And again, especially once you start getting into those larger tire sizes. Although Icon Impact has rated their body mount carrier to be able to withstand the forces and weight from spare tires that are up to 40 inches in diameter because of the rear reinforced corner section of the Jeep. Plus is further strengthened by the thick steel reinforcement plate that ties the upper and lower hinge together while clamping them securely to the heavy gauge structural steel of the Jeep's inner body tub. And guys, so that we don't spend too much time just focusing on Icon, and for information on Icon spare tire carrier, definitely make sure and check out the link that we'll have posted in the description below. The good news is that there are several really great spare tire carrier options out there. Not necessarily the most inexpensive route to go, but an even better alternative, in my opinion, to hanging all of that weight off the tub of your Jeep. One of them is to replace the rear bumper with a recovery bumper with a spare tire carrier attached to it with a spindle hinge. This will take all the pressure off the body of the vehicle and relocate it to the frame, which is the most structurally rigid and strongest part of the vehicle. If that's the route you end up deciding to go, there are several options available that are known as a single action spare tire carrier, because not only does the weight of the spare tire rest on the heavy duty bumper that's attached to the frame, but it also attaches to the Jeep's tailgate. This helps keep the spare tire from wanting to bounce around as much, but because it's attached to the tailgate, you're still able to open your tailgate like you normally would without having to have an extra latch to unhook first. Addictive Desert Design rear bumper spare tire carrier is just one that comes to mind that has a really well-built system. If you wanted to retain the bumper that's on there now, or if there isn't even an option to replace the bumper with a heavy-duty recovery bumper, then a great option there is a receiver hitch mounted spare tire carrier like the ones that a company called Rigged makes, named the Ultra Swing. It's a little bit more cumbersome than a tailgate or bumper mounted tire carrier, but it's the most simplest alternative to those who may not want to always be carrying a spare, or maybe their vehicle just doesn't have an option for an aftermarket tire carrier. Plus, the Ultra Swing still offers the ability to be able to pull a trailer and add on additional mods to that carrier to carry bike racks or roto packs and a variety of other accessories. But what if we don't want a huge spare tire blocking our view when trying to back up, or the extra weight a spare tire and wheel adds? I mean, sure, there are reverse cameras in almost everything nowadays, or they can be easily installed, but let's face it, out on the trail, it's a pain in the ass to see what's behind you with a huge spare tire in your way. We can relocate it to the inside of the vehicle, but that's if we have the room to fit it. Not to mention the large amount of real estate it takes up that can be used for a lot of other things like coolers or tools or even items that can be used to fix a damaged flat tire. And this is where, if you decided that for your particular circumstances, maybe a spare tire isn't necessarily needed. This could be on a vehicle that is often on the pavement in mostly populated areas with good cell reception, and you have AAA or some kind of roadside insurance that covers you in case of a flat. Or it could be a trailer queen rig that almost never sees the pavement, and maybe the spare tire stays on the trailer or in the back of the bed of the truck. Or maybe you have all the necessary tools and items needed in order to repair a damaged tire out in the trail. Things like onboard air, whether it's an air compressor or power tank to inflate the tire, a heavy duty patch or plug kit, or even an inner tube, which I actually ended up running one and it held up for a couple of years in one of my old 39-inch IROCs, so might be something to consider as well. Tire changing spoons are also great to have along with you in order to gain access to the inside of the tire or in case you have to remove the tire from the wheel completely. There's also the fix a flat tire slime stuff, whatever it is, but I've never used it before, so I have no idea if it's good to use or not. And if you do end up deciding on eliminating the spare tire for your Jeep, there are also several nice looking spare tire delete kits out there. One of them being a pretty inexpensive rough country kit, and again, we'll have that link to all of our spare tire accessories on TrailBuilt in the description below. All right guys, I know I briefed through this pretty quickly and there is a lot more information to go through at a later date in a future video or videos, like how to pick out the exact size inner tube you might need or how to properly patch a tire when out on the trail. But really, I would like to find out from you guys what all of you do for a spare tire carrier, or if you even have a spare, and if not, what do you have or have done to fix the tire out on the trails? Definitely would be great to hear all of your guys' feedback in the comments below. And guys, as always, we appreciate all of you for watching and all of your support. I'm Josh from TrailBuilt and we'll see you guys out on the trails.